All right, so I guess we'll start the trivia. We hope you guys like this. What we did was we took 14 questions from the ASBOG Fundamentals of Geology test, and you know, we're going to present those questions. We ask that people do not actually answer them verbally or in the chat. We just want to give everybody about 20 seconds or so to answer it on their own, and then I'll provide the answer. If you have any input to add, you know, anything you want to add about the question, if I butcher the pronunciation of something, please tell me. If you have any cool, interesting facts about anything, please, you know, jump in. We want to make this as interactive as possible. We miss seeing and talking with you guys. All right, let me try to start sharing my screen. All right, first question. The scale for describing the effects or damage caused by an earthquake at a given geographic location is called the A. Bernoulli scale.
A.
Please do not answer out loud if you can hold it in. B. Richter scale. C. Modified Mercalli scale. Or D. Moment magnitude scale. So I'll give you about 20 seconds to think of what the answer is, and then I will provide that to you, and then we'll go on to the next question. All right, the answer to this is C, Modified Mercalli scale.
Yeah, however, Davis talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question, number 2, we have a little figure that goes along with this, A and B. Incipient lateral displacement across a narrow zone is often defined by the appearance of Riedel fractures on the ground. 2 typical patterns of Riedel fractures are shown in the figure. With respect to the patterns shown, the 4 choices, A is right stepping and indicates right lateral movement. B is left stepping and indicates vertical movement. C, A is right stepping and indicates left lateral movement. Or D, A and B are both right stepping.
I think if I were that.
I think it's B.
Yeah, it kind of looks that way to me.
I see Dana Kay was having some issues unmuting herself. I'll see what I can do about that in a second. In the meanwhile, the answer to the question number 2 is C. A is right stepping and indicates left lateral movement.
Really?
C. No.
All right. The next question, number 3. The rate of production from a subsurface reservoir is most directly related to A, porosity, B, permeability, C, compactness, or D, grain size.
B permeable.
Dana Kay, I was just able to unmute you, I think, if you wanted to add anything.
Thank you.
Okay. If anybody else is having that issue, please let us know. All right, so the answer to number 3 is B, permeability. Apparently somebody's got the ability to underline things on here. I'm not sure who's doing that, but you were at least wrong on one of them, I think. Okay, question number 4. What geophysical method would generally be most effective to map deeply buried, greater than 1,500 feet deep, bedrock pediments? A, ground penetrating radar. B, electrical resistivity. C, seismic refraction. Or D, seismic reflection.
B. Reflection.
Okay, the answer to that one is D, seismic reflection. Question number 5. A groundwater model is considered calibrated when A, the model grid and layers match the constructed conceptual model. B, the groundwater flux into the model equals the groundwater flux out of the model. C, hydraulic heads and fluxes reproduce the system modeled within an acceptable tolerance. Or D, the chosen model boundaries express the nature of the physical boundaries?
C. They say B?
Whoever keeps answering, please keep it to yourself or mute yourself.
Yeah.
C.
I was thinking that's the most.
Okay, the answer is C. Hydraulic heads and fluxes reproduce the system modeled within an within an acceptable tolerance. Question number 6. When collecting duplicate samples to validate the quality of the laboratory results, the geologist should always A, identify the duplicate samples, B, use a sequential numbering system, C, be sure that the duplicates cannot be identified by the lab, D, be sure that the duplicates were sampled at different times.
C.
Okay, the answer to this one is C. Be sure that the duplicates cannot be identified by the lab. Let me just check the chat real quick. It looked like there was some activity in there. Oh, it's now not coming up for me. Okay. All right, question number 7. A stream crosses a strike-slip fault with no deviation in its course. Which of the following statements must be true? A, the fault is active. B, the stream crossed the fault since the last fault movement. C, strike-slip faults do not affect stream course. Or D, rock units are the same on both sides of the fault. Okay, the answer to that one is B. The stream crossed the fault since the last fault movement. All right, now here's maybe a tough one for you guys if you weren't listening to Derek's presentation. It's one of our bonus questions. What is the name of the highest single drop waterfall east of the Rockies? A, Niagara Falls. B, Catterskill Falls. C, I'm going to mispronounce this one, the Topographic Falls. Thank you. Or D, Rainbow Falls. Hopefully you're all getting this one right, even though I can't pronounce it. It's C, Toganock Falls. Is that right? Okay. All right, question number 8. Which of the following safety factor values for slope stability shows that a slope is considered stable? A, between 0 and 1. B, between 0 and -1. C, greater than 1. Or D, less than -1. The answer to that one is C, greater than 1. Question number 9. Lithostratigraphic sequences can be used to interpret A, geologic history, B, isolated outcrops, C, earthquake probability, or D, absolute ages of successive formations. The person that keeps highlighting it, you sure you want to go with that one? Because it's wrong. The answer is A, geologic history. Okay,
Yeah.
I messed up this one a little bit, but let's see. The question is, a topographic map shows several circular depressions in a limestone region. What are these features called? A, fensters, B, kettles, C, dolines, I may be mispronouncing that one as well, and D, potholes. Of course, once again, the answer is the one that I have trouble pronouncing, C, dolines.
If you paid attention to my presentation, you would have known that one.
Okay, question number 11. This one is another one that has a graph, and I have to move the people because you're blocking the last one. Okay. The grain size distribution curve illustrated in this figure indicates that the sand is A, poorly sorted, B, poorly graded, C, uniformly sorted, or D, well sorted. Give you a little extra time because this one has a graph with it.
No geotech engineer is allowed to vote on this one.
Okay, the answer is A, poorly sorted. Definitely don't go with the person that's making the marks. Okay, question number 12. If the net volume of precipitation entering a drainage basin exceeds the surface water volume coming out with no change in surface storage, then A, water is recharging the groundwater system, B, water is discharging from the groundwater system, C, evapotranspiration rates have decreased, or D, groundwater storage remains constant because of loss of water to evapotranspiration. Okay, and the answer to this one is A, water is recharging the groundwater system. Question number 13. Which of the following is not commonly a natural constituent of groundwater? A, iron, B, carbonate, C, chloride, or D, nitrate. Excuse me, D, nitrate. All right, many of us on Long Island should know the answer to this one. Maybe upstate as well, D, nitrate.
No
Got
bueno.
a lot of it, and it's a problem. Question number 14. Your client calls you to sample a series of monitoring wells that they installed on their property. Your review of the geologic setting determines that the wells are located such that no contamination could be detected. You should A, notify the board, B, refuse the job, C, inform the client about the problem, or D, sample the wells as requested.
It's an ethics question.
Yes, ethics is very important in what we do. And I will tell you right now, if you pick D, you've got problems. The correct answer to this one is C, inform the client about the problem. And we have one more question. It's another bonus question. Hopefully, again, you're listening to Derek's presentation. The walking dunes in Montauk move on average how many feet per year? A, 1 foot per year, B, 3.5 feet per year, C, 10 feet per year, or D, 25 feet per year. Okay, and the correct answer to that one is B, 3.5 feet per year. Now, is there anybody brave enough to let us know how well they did?
I got 11.
You got 11? That's pretty good. Anybody else? I know we have people on here that have recently taken the FG.
Somebody must have
I
done
believe
better
some that
than
are
me.
studying. What was that, Derek?
Somebody must have done better than me.
Let's see. Usman says he's on mute. He can't talk, but he got 13.
Oh,
Jill Hameson said, thank you, Derek, for putting this presentation together. Will Young, who did recently pass the FG, he got,
we got 10.
Pretty good. Mike Pecoraro, he got 9 correct. That's good. I hope you're going for the FG soon. Anybody else? I don't know who this person is. Scolo Labufo got 10 right as well.
Calabufo.
Thank you.
My first initial and last name.
Yeah.
Yes, Calabufo.
Somebody on their iPhone got 12 right. That's really good. Does anybody have anything that they want to add about anything from Derek's presentation or any of the questions that we asked?
Can you explain what a doline is? Or doline?
Derek, you said that was part of your presentation. Can you do that?
Sure, you want to go back? Hand it back over to me. I'll open up my thing again.
I will do that. Give me 1 second. I tried looking up in my geology book from college, and it's not even in there.
Okay, so a domical uplift is when you have a core of igneous rock and tilted and folded sedimentary rocks along the flanks, and it basically uplifts that circular pattern. So that was one of the reasons why, if you go back to here, why they were looking for drilling for shale or drilling for natural gas, is they thought this was a domical uplift.
All right, if there's no more questions, I think we can just open this up and let people talk. Get a little networking, a little conversation going. Please feel free to unmute yourselves. You can put your videos on. We'd love to see you guys.